Man, we all had busy weekends. I had a birthday baptism of the boys, but
Yeah.
everyone in the family was like, that came from out of town was like absolutely beautiful weather.
Yeah, we set it up all week long that, hey, Saturday, Sunday, going to be the best of the lot. Temperatures comfortable. Yeah, there was a couple of stray showers, but if you're unlucky enough to get underneath one of them, but humidity level stayed low. Obviously, we've got big changes out there today. You can feel it when you stepped outside this morning, and you see the radar beginning to light up here, especially across our extreme northern and western counties. The bulk of this stuff, western Kentucky and into the southern part of Indiana. A little boundary, and of course, plenty of moisture out there now. There is a severe thunderstorm warning, extreme northeastern Pendleton County and northwestern Bracken County in far northern Kentucky until 5:45. Bulk of this in southern Ohio, and then a fairly healthy cell coming out of Metro Louisville, running from Shelbyville back into northwestern Shelby County. Again, the bulk of this stuff firing along that boundary, and even some organized storms there in far western Kentucky. Notice out of the severe thunderstorm watch box, which goes until 10 o'clock. Now, the Weather Service, seeing what's going on with that line and the ongoing warnings, have extended the severe thunderstorm watch to include parts of southwestern Kentucky until 10 o'clock. Now, Lexington did not include it, but keep in mind it's in or close to the watch area. So I think anyone here in the bluegrass points north and west, fair game, and damaging winds, the primary threat this go around. A little bit of hail possible and some heavier rain, but it's really the wind threat that's most concerning as we go into the evening hours. Bluegrass Pace Care, Sky VHC Camera Network. Kentucky Horse Park, we're at 87. Now, it's been a little breezy out there this afternoon. South winds at about 10 to 15, and most locations mid, got a few upper 80s, 88 in Danville. And you notice those dew points, great measure of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. Talk about it all summer long. Mid to upper 60s, you can really start to feel it, 70 or above. That's your tropical feel, and you're feeding the moisture in, so that's really helping those storms to fire out to our west. Even though high pressure is in control at the surface, this boundary here, again, helping things along. And even after the sun goes down, I still think we're going to see some additional activity, especially along and north of I-64 into the overnight hours. Tomorrow morning, we start out into the mid to upper 60s, and then we start to build the heat, and that is going to be the process going forward over the next few days. Upper 80s to right around 90, and that's what we're looking at through the mid and especially into the late week. This area of high pressure, that bubble of heat over the south central plains begins to build eastward, so heating up. Low 90s on Wednesday, getting closer to the mid 90s Thursday, and then especially during the day on Friday. Notice how the muggy meter, we're going to be humid, but we're not going to be overly oppressive, and that is important because when you get that hot, as the summer heat hangs tough into the upcoming weekend, the heat index comes into play, but I think we're probably going to be maybe either side of the 100-degree mark. And as I mentioned last week, of course, it has been very wet of late, and for this deep in July, everything's pretty green, so it's a little more difficult to heat things up efficiently. So you notice Thursday and Friday, those will be the 2 days where those heat indices could be either side of the 100-degree mark. If it gets a little bit hotter, that goes up, and then it gets to be a little bit concerning here. But as we go through later on in the week, since we really haven't had any heat to speak of, you know the drill here with your outdoor heat safety tips. Stay hydrated, lightweight, light-colored clothing. Don't forget about the sunscreen. That's no matter what you're doing outside. And, of course, eat lighter meals when it's really, really hot. And we're going to see that later in the week. Warm with a few storms this evening and overnight, 67, 90 for the afternoon high tomorrow. With just a stray storm, I think the coverage will be less. In the extended forecast, again, the presence of the green and the fact that it's been a little bit wet of late, that's the difference between seeing low to mid 90s and mid to upper 90s like we would generally see in a drought situation. Hey, if it's hot, and it's going to be through the upcoming weekend. Front gets close enough to produce a few isolated to scattered storms, back our temperatures down a bit into early next week.